Hello everyone and welcome to Traveling with Annie. Right now I am in Kadıköy on the Asian side of Istanbul and I'm taking the ferry across to the Europe side. And that is honestly one of the coolest things about this city. You're literally moving between continents in 20 minutes from Asia to Europe, just like that. The sea is calm, seagulls flying next to the boat, people drinking tea, commuting like this is completely normal. It makes me think about how Istanbul is not just a city, it is a bridge between cultures, between histories, between worlds. Ahead of me is Eminönü and already from the ferry I can see minarets everywhere. The skyline is unreal. I just found my hostel, dropped my bag, and honestly, there's something about putting your backpack down in a new city. It is like, okay, now I'm here, now the exploring starts. Before exploring, I had a proper Turkish breakfast. Tea, of course, always tea. Cheese, bread, omelet, and menemen. Menemen is probably one of the simplest but most comforting. Breakfast here is not rushed. It is social, it is slow, it is meant to be enjoyed. I'm standing here in Galata, right in front of Galata Tower. The streets feel so alive. Cafes, history, and sensory layers into one place. I'm waiting for the tram to heading toward Blue Mosque, also known as the Sultanahmet Mosque. On the way, I see fishermen standing shoulder to shoulder on the bridge. That is Galata Bridge, and it is such a wide fishing roads line up, mosques in the background, boat passing underneath. There are shops everywhere, street vendors selling seameat, sesame bread rings. The smell of grilled corn, it feels busy but alive. I have arrived in Sultanahmet, the history heart of Istanbul. And what's crazy is that within just a few minutes walk from here, you have landmarks that shape entire empires. This area used to be the political and spiritual center of both the Byzantine and Ottoman worlds. You can hear the call of prayers echoes across the square, bouncing between domes and minarets. It is not loud in an overwhelming way. It is atmospheric, almost grounding. And here it is, the Blue Mosque, officially known as the Sultanahmet Mosque. It was built between 1609 and 1619 during the rule of Sultan Ahmed I, and it was meant to show the power and confidence of the Ottoman Empire at its peak. The 6 minarets were controversial at that time because that number matched the Grand Mosque in Mecca. That says something about the ambition behind this structure. Inside there are more than 20,000 hand-painted ethnic tiles, blue floral designs, geometric pattern, and when light filters through the stained glass windows, the whole interior feels soft and almost weightless. Despite the number of visitors, there is a calmness here. The carpet absorbs sound. People lower their voices naturally. There's this unspoken respect in the air. Even if you're not religious, you can feel the intention behind it. The precision, the devotion, the artistry. Right next to the Blue Mosque, you will find the tomb of Sultan Ahmed I. He became Sultan when he was only 19 years old, and he's the one who commissioned the Blue Mosque. one of the most iconic landmarks in Istanbul today. When you walk into the tram, the atmosphere immediately feels different. It is much quieter and more intimate compared to the busy square outside. People naturally lower their voices, and you start to feel the weight of history in a different way. Sultan Ahmed I ruled the Ottoman Empire in the early 1600s, during a time when the empire was one of the most powerful in the world. It is fascinating to think that decisions made by leaders like him once shaped the lives of millions of people across huge parts of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Today, instead of diplomats and soldiers, the space is filled with visitors from all over the world. People come in with cameras, curiosity, and respect, trying to understand the history behind this place. The contrast is really striking. From imperial power to historical site visited by travelers. Standing here also makes you reflect on time and legacy. Sultan Ahmed I passed away centuries ago, but the mosque he commissioned and the story of his reign are still remembered today. It reminds you that the things we build, create, and contribute to the world can continue to exist long after we are gone. In a way, places like this connect the past with the present. They remind us that history is not just something in books. It is something you can walk through, experience, and reflect on in real life. Later, I visit Kili Ali Pasha Mosque, designed by the legendary Ottoman architect Mimar Sinan in the late 1500s. Compared to the Blue Mosque, this one feels understated. Smaller courtyard, fewer visitors, more locals. And honestly, I love that contrast. It feels less like a monument and more like a living space, somewhere people actually come to pray, reflect, and exist in their daily routine. Sometimes the quiet places leave a stronger impression. It reminds me that Istanbul is not just grand landmarks, it is everyday life happening inside centuries-old walls. Okay, let us talk about this kumpir. I ordered one with tuna, thinking it would be a normal baking potato. It was not normal at all. It was this massive potato mashed with butter and cheese inside until it is creamy, then topped with salad, pickles, corn, olives, whatever you choose. It is basically a full meal discussed as a street food. I could barely finish it. I in the day at Yeni Mosque, the new mosque, which actually dates back to the 1600s. It stands right by the water near Eminönü, at the edge of the Golden Horn. Pickers fill the square, boats move constantly across the water. The city never fully paused, and when the call to prayers begin again, echoing across the waterfront, it hits differently. Because now I have seen the Asian side, the European side, the quiet mosques, the monumental ones, and I realize this city does not try to separate its identities. It holds them all at once. Ancient and modern, religious and secular, calm and chaotic, and somehow it worked. And now I am sitting on the plane, looking out at the runway line from Asia to Europe in one day, from breakfast tea in Kadıköy to Ottoman mosques in Sultanahmet, from ferry rides to flight departure. I came here for architecture and food, but I'm leaving with perspective. Istanbul is not just a destination, it is contrast, complicity, continuity, and somehow it all works together. See you in the next venture.